Hello, YouTuber. Can you hear me? Hi, this is Henry Lee. I'm at my home studio, Blue Heron Arts today. Try to test live broadcasting on YouTube. This is my first time, so I will make many mistakes. Forgive me if that bothers you. Let's see, how do I make it? How do I change the camera? Oh, here. Okay. Now you can see my table, right? Let me set this on a clip. Forgive me if there's noise. Wish you can see my palette, but seems not. So I'll move my palette as we go. I think you can see my ink here. Okay. So I'm going to do a test just to experiment how it works. I'm not sure if I can see your comment. Let me see if I can watch myself on other video. Okay, here we go. I need to click something. It's not moving, huh? Am I live? Okay, it seems live. Okay. Now I can hear myself. The subject matter today is the Lablab beans. Let me turn off the speaker. Here's a sample picture I got from my teacher 30 years ago. In 1987, before I came to the United States, I got many small samples like this as my last lessons with my teacher Zhang Zhenying. This is his name here. And this painting was requested by me particularly. I was very interested in learning how to paint Lablab beans, in Chinese 扁豆花, the flower of Lablab bean vines. And he showed me this picture in front of me with ink, a small 写意 style, which means lesser impressionistic style, or spontaneous style. So I have been studied the subject matter in different approaches. Like this one I did recently with watercolor on mulberry paper. I got many encouragement. The reason you see the difference is I have been studying watercolors using Western watercolor. Here's another example I did, and real flowers growing in our yard. So I have taken some pictures and I did this painting in studio, but I do have the real flowers if I want to go out to look at them. The color I used are Hobian watercolor. These are Western watercolor, but seems working well with Chinese brush painting, recommended by many of my fellow artists who does both watercolor and Chinese brush painting in the past. And this is the materials I'm going to use. Of course, I will use ink. I will use blue ink from Japan, and I can use some, basic brushes. I think the basic 5. And if I want, I can try, some very expensive Western watercolor brushes. I got the sable brush from Da Vinci. It's very expensive. It's like $100 each. I don't think they make much difference for me. So the real difference is the artist's conception of the subject and the realization of painting. So let's start from the conception. I have a piece of rice paper, unsized, which means an absorbent or very bleeding, if you will. I will do a quick, spontaneous style, just like my teacher did, but maybe I would use some more color. He has some color on this kind of grasshopper, and some color on the flowers and the bean, but I can maybe also use color on the leaves. So the color is not excluded in Chinese brush painting. You might have a misconception in Sumier. They tend to use more ink, but Sui Boku, the Shui Mo, ink and water painting, do include colors. I'm not sure if anybody are watching right now. Let me check. So there we go. I will start with some ink, and let's get some water. I will use ceramic palette here, which you can see this. I think I need to move a little bit. Okay, here we go. Let's get some water here, and I use some green. So the advantage of Western watercolor is that you have hundreds of options, ready-made greens or blues, etc. But I like to mix green. You can use, some phthalo, some yellow, lemon yellow with phthalo blue, or ultramarine, whatever. And I always use a little ink to mute it. In Western watercolor, you might use bronze, like the earth colors. So you can use a little brown, I think, just to make it a little more autumn color. This is the last month of this plant, so it has more color in the leaves. I try to do that. So we always start from dark. Let's do it again. So some water, let's do some blue. You can see here, I think. Cerulean blue, and let's do some ink. Get some gray. You can see the painting I try to copy or follow. Let's turn this over so I can flip it. Just do a slightly different composition. So I will start from the dark. There are 3 strokes per group. Just like a bamboo, we always paint the leaves in group. You can overlap. You can overlap them like that. The two of them are more close, like a heart shape for each section, and then the smaller ones. I don't reload until the brush is exhausted, so it gives me a natural color variation or gradation. Okay, and let's do some more on the side. You can have perspective. I start to draw stems, so better to do the veins now. The most important is where uh, the vine come from, the entrance of the composition. I would start from position number 1. My teacher taught us that there are 8 positions: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Except the corners and the middle, the center lines. So that you can start from any of these 8 positions. We call this the 8th position of starting off a plant. Notice that the vine of Lablab being is different from the wooden vines like wisteria or grapes. So we need to indicate that grass quality, we call it vegetable field, not too woody. I don't know if I make it clear. So the quality of line should go with that kind of feel. And it comes with sections, like so. You can make frequent stops. And this goes all the way outside. So don't be afraid to go off the frame. You can use like a smaller brush, like a wolf hair brush. I just try to use the same brush. That's my teacher did, I think. Some line. And here I will make some change because I have more space. I will draw the flowers first, maybe, then the stems. Let's do another second, like a tendril here, because the line here is kind of weak. You can make it up or add another line. The easiest is to add a tendril around it. I just add a tendril. Let's see if I avoid this part on purpose. Okay, let's. I will change the brush to another soft brush for the flower. And we do use white or gouache in Chinese watercolor. So I use some white. And the purple is tricky, so you need to mix them. I'll use a little rose madder or Isaiah crimson, kind of dark red. And some French ultramarine. The reason I can use watercolor without worry about bleeding at mounting is I use dry mounting in this case, so there's no worry about smearing. If you wet mount, the color may smear. The flowers is like wisteria, but with the stem pointing up instead of down. The bud is more cold. To simplify, we just use same color for the bud and the calyx, dark purple. Any comments or questions? There are 10 people watching, not too bad. First time I tried to do this live. A little bit nervous for me because if I make a mistake, I cannot really edit it out, especially my poor English. You know, I do intensive editing on my recorded lessons before. All right, let's okay, let's do the beans. Let me do another, to save color, I just keep using new brush for different colors. So the bean is no, without gouache, just purple. So I use some rose madder and ultramarine. You can make it even darker with bronze. Let's see how it works. You can use a blotting. You can use a tissue. I just use another piece of rice paper because I don't have tissue in hand. Paper towel has texture. I don't want to use that. I just use paper towel for drying the brush, not for blotting. The beans has perspective. To show the narrowness, I just do a side view. You can use a dark color to contrast, create contrast. So let me do it behind the flower. Squeeze out the flower. The stem of this is quite long, and we kind of harvest them as they go, so it could be very long. And sometimes my wife will leave the very first one for seed. So there's one maybe right on the bottom. I did it there. So there will be some blank space just like has been eaten by me. So you can also create dense and sparse in a sense. Let's do another group, minor group here. Now I'll do some smaller beings, the guest group. And some flowers. Some calyx and bud. Okay. And it looks like the space here I want to add another supporting cluster of flowers. You can also add leaves. This okay. Let's see. You have a turn. The tendency is move from this line is kind of dry. Preferably should be more moisture because this is autumn, so it's probably okay. This should go behind, then out, I think. Turns. And I can, make it something goes back inside. So it goes outside in and in, inside, outside and in. You can finish this first. This could be another like a young cluster. We can make some color change. You can do green beans, but be the same color. Even they're young, they're pretty dark, I think. Okay. I forgot this is the flower brush, so it's kind of has white in it. Let me change it back. Flower has white in it. It's quite a bit of the beans. That's good. Let's just add a little young leaves around. we don't do the backgrounds, but you can do like shadows, um, just like a watercolor. Let's see if we can just add some shadows. I try to clean my palette here. Any color, if it's diluted, is nice. You know, add more water to the color. Okay, let's see if we. Okay, one trick I want to show you is that you can use white to dot the bean inside the, just like highlights. Semi-opaque. My teacher did this. This is from the traditional Chinese painting. You can do it on the back also, but he just did it on the front. We just got that. This is a very common approach created by Shanghai masters like Ren Bonian. Very light. This is smeared, so I have to kind of cover it, I think. You can change that into a leaf. That's the easiest to fix. Okay. You can add leaf veins before the leaf gets dry. The secondary veins are not very developed in this plant, so we just do one single line for each section. Don't have to be exactly in the middle. This one already have one. The younger leaves need to have some green, darker gray, green. So we'll dry brush on wet. We can do some a little more splatter, I think, to finish. You can dot the pollen with a little yellow highlight, orange, yellow. Contrast with purple is perfect. Okay, now let's find a spot to sign. I omitted that bug. The grasshopper. think I have to sign up here or on the bottom. Let's just do it on the bottom here, like my teacher did. A short signature would do in this case. Sign inside a little bit. My brush is quite dry. You just go slow. Dry. I think the vine tends to be too dry, not watery enough. That's the only thing I don't like that much. Other than that, I'm pleased. I never be happy with my painting because best painting always come next, I think. Let's do a seal at the dessert, we call it. I think I need a large one. And that's the demo, I think. It's still wet and developing. You need to wet it dry if you want to work more. Just don't keep working on the mistake. You can work around it. Sometimes I just keep working on the other part. Forget it for now. It would look nicer sometimes after it dries, because it dried lighter. Do some splatter. Okay, let me stop. And if you have comments, please write. I will respond to your questions after this video. Sorry again for this live video, the first time. So I will try to do more if you like it, and let me know. Subscribe, and you will know the video is live next time if you missed it. Thank everybody for watching. Goodbye. Okay, now I can see your comments. Thank you, thank everybody.